Hello, I'm Joey Haskins, and welcome back to You've Never Seen, in which I showcase a movie you've probably never seen before. And this is the first stop on our You've Never Seen World Tour. The first stop is in Spain, where we take a look at a film by the one and only Pedro Almodóvar, Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown. The 1988 film would launch Almodóvar to international acclaim, kickstart his still ongoing career, and establish a lot of things that are consistent in his films. For a film with such a long title, it's surprisingly very contained. Well, mostly contained. The film basically sets in motion a series of events that just escalate more and more as the film goes on, showing how absolutely funny the circumstances of this film is. Carmen Mora plays Pepa, an actor who was recently broken up with by her fellow actor and longtime lover, Ivan, pretty much losing it as she feels he left her with everything on her shoulders. Thus, throughout the film, we see her try to get in contact with him to much failure as she teeters back and forth between despising him and practically begging for him to come back. At the same time this all happens, Pepa meets a wacky array of characters, including Ivan's bumbling son, his snobby fiancé, Pepa's friend who's paranoid that she's pursued by the police, Ivan's former wife who has a secret of her own, and a taxi driver who plays mambo music in his car. What I find so funny about this movie is how bad things can get. And trust me, you're going to want to stay to the end to see how bad it gets. And the spiral of going down the crazy train is played beautifully by Carmen Mora. She carries this movie by trying her best to be calm in situations, but her emotions come out often in hurtful spurts. And her gradually crazy persona works really well with the other characters. Keen-eyed viewers will see that Ivan's son, Carlos, is played by Antonio Banderas. His character is kind of a pushover as he's repeatedly coerced into doing things by the other women, least of all his fiancée, because she knocks herself out for most of the movie by drinking a jug of gazpacho that Pepa spiked with enough sleeping pills to choke a horse. Maria Barranco also gives a great performance as the equally nervous Candela, who Pepa has to deal with throughout the movie. Most every performance in this movie is fantastic, but it's complemented by the excellent production design, color, and costumes. In this film, Spain has not looked more beautiful. The vibrant pink penthouse of Pepa's pops, and it's distinct enough for it to be memorable, not to mention all the little trinkets and antiques that have filled the apartment. And of course, all the outfits. Whether it be extravagant or toned down, or even the constant collection of either striped or polka-dotted suits in Pepa's closet, the costumes in the film are beautiful. And they really help the characters pop out, say, in night, or at an airport, or in a car. But the one thing that I love about the film is this theme of destruction. Most of the women in this film go to great lengths to destroy basically everything that a man built up for them. Whether it be Candela getting rid of all the evidence of her terrorist boyfriend, or Julieta Serrano's Lucia attempting to kill her husband, but it's very apparent with Pepa. Throughout the film, she is basically destroying everything that reminds her of Ivan. She destroys their phone only for it to get repaired, then destroys it again after it's fixed. She also throws out his suitcase, a record, and their answering machine after all the frustration. But ultimately, Pepa goes through the film to realize she doesn't need him anymore. If Ivan is going to continue being the way that he is, then what's the point of caring? Especially when she's not the only thing he's left in the dust. The title is spelled women instead of woman, after all, so Pepa's not the only one being dragged along for the ride. The film is a good representation of the real emotional abuse that women go through in relationships, and it's no wonder people love it so much. Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown is often regarded as one of Almodóvar's best. Spain's Film Awards, the Goya Awards, gave the film 16 nominations and 5 wins. Meanwhile, in the States, it was nominated for Best Foreign Language Film at the Golden Globes and the Oscars, giving Almodóvar his very first ever nomination. So check out Woman on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown and have a laugh at this black comedy. You can check it out at your local library. With Weston Media Center, I'm Joey Haskins, and I'll see you all next time.